I'm excited about the Not Too Young to Run bill because it's going to encourage young people to, understand that there's need for them to participate in politics, understand the democratic processes, and understand how governance should be delivered. It's one thing to complain and talk about these things. It's another thing to actually participate in the process. For me, the young to run, not young to run bill doesn't really apply because I'm past the age that was, capped for people to leverage on to want to participate. For the presidency, it's at 35, the Senate, and then governors came down a little bit, and other offices. I turned 40, so statutory, constitutionally, I do have the right to run for the office I'm running for. More interestingly, I think this is just a wake-up call to young people to make them understand that at this point in time, they need to participate. This is something that they need to be involved with, and I am glad that the president assented it. I'm glad I went through the second, first, and third reading in the House, and more young people have something to latch on to. But where I find it funny is when the president who assented this bill clearly told the people on the day of the sign off that you guys shouldn't bother running, and that was a bit laughable because what you would expect is, I would like more of you to come out and contest. I would like to hear what manifestos you have. I would like to hear what plans you have. And if you are the popular candidate and the people want you over me, so be it. Because it's a democracy. You don't tell anybody to run. You don't tell anybody you're not fit, I'm better than you. It doesn't happen like that. So I want young people to take advantage of this, but I want the young people that will be coming out to also be prepared. Because I've never ever thought about politics or democracy or leadership as a thing that is going to be defined by age. Age is not a function of good leadership. That you're young doesn't necessarily mean you can give good leadership. That you're old doesn't mean necessarily you can give good leadership. What we should be focused on are your antecedents, your track records, and your ability to, galvanize and bring people together to lead them to a path that can keep them more united than anything else. Yeah,
going through your name, Ahmed Buhari, do you think this is going to give you more opportunity than other candidates? Maybe some persons out there might be saying, oh, maybe he's related to Mr. President, and that's why he's coming out to contest.
The thing with the name is, we've tried to talk about the name from the time we made the declaration. I made a declaration to run on the 1st of October 2016. At a time when the Not Young to Run bill hadn't even started. But, I did get a few backlashes from people. Are you related to the president? The president is trying to push his son. And I said, I'm not going to let the fact that we share the same name determine how far I want to go with my pursuits. Neither am I going to let it deter or whatever the case might be. And we've also tried to make people understand that a name is just a symbol to identify an item, not necessarily the content of that item. So you could be Sheyi, you could be Bola, you could be Lawal, whatever the name might be. The most important thing is, what are your antecedents? What have you got to offer? So you can find two Abdurrahmans in a class. One comes first and the other one comes last. I have no relationship with the president. I'm from a different state entirely. We keep talking about it with people. I've never even met him before. But the only thing that is bringing us together now is because we're running for about the same office, and that's why people are trying to say, oh, are you guys related? And it's happening about the same time. So I'm here to run regardless of the name. I want people to focus on the message. I want people to focus on the plans, and maybe we'll now start moving from that stereotypical kind of views that we normally would have when we say, okay, these people are Hausas and we'll expect all of them to be the same. These people are Igbos, we expect. It's not really what will define them. Every single individual has got its own potentials and ability, capacity, and what they want to deliver truly.
Now, you are quite young, and then what do you think you stand to present to the Nigerian public, that will make you stand out as a different president, if at all you emerge as the president come 2019?
For us, there are 4 things. What should I say 5 things that we really want to happen to Nigeria? First of all, we believe we've come to a point where there's no Nigerian dream. There's nothing that holds us together. There is nothing that we want to push forward together. So we want a united country. We want a leader that we'll find amongst ourselves, that people from all over the country would find a reason to want to associate with. Right now, what we're running is, okay, this region do yours, and the other region do yours, and the other region do yours, and what it gives to the people is, oh, it's their turn, let them finish, and then we'll come. And when the other people come, it's your turn, let them finish. We don't have that synergy. So we want a united country. We want a secure country. We want a country that is truly decentralized.
Please, I want to ask Ahmed Buhari, what does he have at the back of his mind to contest for the presidency as of now?
Okay.
Second one, why is he insisting that he wants to be a president at this stage?
Why what? The second one is what?
He want to be
Okay. Why does he want to be president? Okay.
All right. At this critical period of time.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Hamisu. Now, the first question is, what is at the back of your mind? And second one, why do you want to be president at this stage?
Thank you, Hamisu. So before Hamisu's call came in, I was trying to explain some of the things that we want to move forward. You know, so it's one thing to have all the lofty manifestos talking about this, we're going to construct this. I think we should stop making those kind of promises that we can't really keep. What we really need right now is national consciousness. We want a united people. We want a secure people. So our borders are porous, and that's one of the reasons we have a problem here. We want a country that's truly decentralized. So we do support restructuring. We think it's about time the regions or the states should start working independently, and so that when they fall short, the people know exactly who to hold accountable. We want a country that can find a way to leverage on our comparative economic advantages. And when we talk about leveraging our comparative economic advantages, we believe that is the one way we can find people in the north, the east, the west, and the south, finding a reason to do things together. So if you have something in the north and you don't have it in the south, there's definitely something you have in the south that is not in the north that can come together. This is what we call leveraging on our comparative economic advantages. So I've looked at the Nigerian situation, and there is no part of the country completely that you go and say they don't have something to offer. If it's either you have land,
Okay.
and the people in Bayelsa have money, and they could invest in agriculture in Jigawa.
Ahmed,
so I want, because he's going to probably ask me the same thing
yes,
again.
I'm coming. We have SMB from Lagos. I think he has one or two questions for you. Hello, SMB.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah,
good morning, Your Excellency, in advance. Thank you very much. More grace to your elbow.
Yeah.
And it's evidence to prove that not too young to run bill is on process. The only thing now we are expecting is not too poor to run. Yeah, not too poor to run. Let me go straight to the question, sir.
All right.
Sometimes that almost 13 million children are out of school. 13 million children are out of school. What will you do in your capacity? Then that's number one. Number two, how will you bridge the gap between religion and ethnicity in our society? Because you agree with me, we need general societal reorientation. But at your own angle as a president, how will you bridge the gap between religion and ethnicity? Thank you very much. I remain SMB from Lagos.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, SMB. So, you know, he's just picking what Nigerians truly want. He did not say, I want to see infrastructure. He did not say, tell me about the economy. What he's really asking is, what would you do to, you know, close the gap between the religious divide, the ethnic divides? And that's why we say we want a united country. When we say we want a united country, we want a country that will look at ourselves regardless of our religion, our ethnicity, our social status, political party, ideological affiliations, gender, even age brackets, and say, look, we need to move forward as a people. I've been to a few African countries that we would naturally not even want to emulate. But when I went there, I realized that the people don't even have anything like state of origin anymore.
Wow.
I went to a country in Africa where the president just shut down 6,000 churches and mosques. And if you shut down 6,000 churches and mosques in Nigeria, there's going to be an uproar. But this guy said, I'm going to shut down those religious houses because I want them to go through a proper process before they can start operating as an organization or an institution. The reason is simple. Our country is very volatile right now. There's so many things that could trigger anything when it comes to especially religion. What's wrong if we have a process that you would have to follow or some boxes that you have to check or tick so that we can consider you fit enough to run that kind of establishment. It's not happening here. So I can pick up a loudspeaker today and say all I want to say based on the religious belief that I have, and it goes like that. We want a country that's united. We want a country that is secure. We want a country that is truly decentralized, because the center is holding too much, and that's why it's failing. We want to see how power can be pushed to the different areas of the country. We want to have a country that we can leverage in our comparative economic advantages. But in all of this, one thing that we think that is very essential is, if we don't have proper data management systems, we cannot have the kind of country that we want. Because it's with the data that we have that we can plan, that we can forecast. I've seen governments say we want to start feeding kids. We'll start feeding kids, or we'll start paying people 5,000 naira because they're out of job. How do you know this number? People come into this country every day with the intention not to return. They come in through the borders and you don't ask them why they're here, how long they intend to stay, when do they intend to leave. And we think we're running a country? It doesn't happen like that anywhere. So when we say we want proper data management system, we're talking about how to identify ourselves. The only reason that will make you feel excited about being a Nigerian is when you are being looked for, and this country can actually say, fine, Mr. So-so-so or Mrs. So-so is missing, for example, or it's in this country, and we can go to our database and we can find out exactly who you are. There's nothing that identifies you as a Nigerian. If you go missing today, you are gone. Nobody cares. Nobody can find you. Now, it's hard for us to ask people to come and give their data because things have changed. The only way people will be excited in giving their data is because they know that there is a social amenity or there's a social service that I can get back from the system. He talked about education. This country cannot tell me how many kids will be going into school next year, because we don't know how many kids were given birth to this year. We don't know how many people have died this year. We don't know how many people even died 6 months ago. We don't have any records on anything. So how do you plan? How do you know that, okay, fine, we need to be preparing because about 4 million people will be going into the civil service in the next 3-4 years? How do we manage that? There were about 200 million children that were given birth to, or there were about 1 million children that were given birth to in 2018. How do we fix them into the system? How many schools are we looking at? What is the expansion going to be like? We're talking about security. We're looking at people who come into this country who we can't identify. We hold programs, open programs, and people running the street can just be present there. We don't even know if they're there to come and destroy the situation. I went to a country where you can't get into a hotel without an ID. Now, these are serious things. And if you do orchestrate a crime in one hotel, your name is being spread across all the other hotels. You will be caught in a minute. We are still joking.
All right, Ahmed, we have Mohammed from Taraba. Hello, Mohammed. Thanks for stopping by.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Please, you have 1 minute. Go ahead with your question, please.
Okay, I want to ask Ahmed Buhari, why did he want to contest with President Ahmed Buhari? Hello?
Yeah, is that your question?
Why is he want to contest with President Ahmed Buhari now?
All right.
I'm not contesting
Second
with...
one.
Okay.
The second one, what did he think he would do that President Ahmed Buhari did not do for now?
Okay. Thank you very much, Ahmed, Mohammed, for stopping by.
So I'm sure there's some questions that I have not answered.
Yes.
Like the first guy asked a similar question to this one, which is, why do you want to run?
To run, yeah.
I think I am too relevant for my generation to hear that I existed without making an impact.
Wow.
If the Constitution allows me to run, it shouldn't be a problem to anybody. The guy who just called me can also run for this office.
For the office.
If we feel there are some lapses in governance, in the structure, in the politics, there is nothing wrong if we contest it and say we're not happy with how things are being done, but not just sit down and complain, but do something about it. If you ask me what plans I have and I say, oh, I don't have any plan, I just want to run for office, then there's a problem. But if you ask me what plans have you got, tell us your blueprint. What does it look like? Is this something that Nigerians would like to embrace at this crucial time? And I'm unable to do so. Yes, my friend, go and sleep. But what if Ahmed Buhari's presidency will give a better result, better democracy, better development to the Nigerian people than the current administration? These are the things we should look at. If we're not open-minded as to getting the best for ourselves, we'll continue living in this quagmire that we have found ourselves over the years. President Muhammad Buhari, in all honesty, I would naturally think that it's about time that he goes and rests. I would naturally think that it's about time he says, fine, I've done my 4 years, I've sort of put some structural reforms in place. I would like to see a new kind of governance come into place that would help fix this country. Because, look, there's a disconnect. I'm 40 years old. And the truth of the matter is that I believe, most of us here, I believe that we are the link between the young and the old. And the only way we can have a connect with the people under us is to, let them know, get some of the morals that we have received from our elders and say, okay, fine, let's see how we can harmonize this, how we can synergize this. It doesn't make sense when you look at the National Assembly, for example, and then the average age of the people there is somewhere around 65. And then we know that more than 80% of the country fall below the age of 30. It's not adding up. It's not connected. They cannot be the right people to build the kind of policies that would help move our country forward. Because if you don't listen to what the people, if you don't listen to what your kids want, you'll be getting them the wrong things. And that is why most times you are trying to raise a family and you're having so much problems because you're not communicating. You're not getting feedback from your wife, you're not getting feedback from your children, and you think what you're presenting to them is exactly what they want.
All right, Ahmed, there are a lot of questions for you to answer today. I'm sorry for bringing you on a hot seat.
I'm very happy to be here.
All right, we have another caller on the line. Hello, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah. What's your name, please?
Delba Mohammed, calling from Kano.
Okay, Mohammed from Kano. Go ahead with your question.
Please, I want to ask Ahmed Buhari.
Okay, go ahead.
He did not answer the question of the last caller to me well. You understand?
Okay, but what is your own question?
I want him to specifically say what is it that if we elected him president as a young man, that Buhari did not do, that he will do it. Okay. What has he observed that Buhari is supposed to do that he did not do? That when he elected him president as a young man, he will do just that.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. He's going to answer that right away.
I will tell you very sincerely, my dear friend from Kano. One of the biggest problems with this administration is its inability to synergize the three arms of government. The three arms of government, more than anything else, are supposed to function for one primary reason: to give good governance to the Nigerian people. As I speak with you, the synergy with the judiciary, with the legislature and the executive is in total disarray. This is not how you want to see your country being run. If you think you're enjoying what is on the pages of papers or what you hear on the news, I am sorry, it is bad news. Because what you should be wanting to hear is that bills are being passed that would favor the people, not individuals. So if you have a leadership that is unable to synergize the output from the collective responsibilities of the legislature, the judiciary, and the executive, then you have a failure in system. In other words, a failure in government. We should understand and must understand that 100% is what is required. However, in politics, you are trying and thriving very hard to make sure that more of the percentage goes in the favor of the Nigerian people. But in trying to curb or fix certain things, and then in the process, the people that you have promised to give the best are in turmoil, then you are failing. We're not going to lie about the killings in all parts of the country as it is right now. It used to be a northeastern problem. It has gone beyond the northeastern problem. We used to talk about it from Lagos and where have you. We've seen it come glaring in the face. We've seen how the legislature doesn't seem to be in tandem with the executive. We've seen how the judiciary does not help to execute some of the primary objectives that they're supposed to do to help executive get its goals ticked. Then we know that's a problem. We know that there's no communication. We know there is no understanding. And what we are saying here is, look, we're not interested in seeing how the division is going deeper on ethnic lines, on religious lines, on social lines, on political lines, on gender lines. We're saying that as a people, as a generation, we would like to see all of these people come together for the collective progress of our people, of our country. And the only way that can happen is if the leadership is right. And the leadership can only be right if the people are in conjunction with what the leadership is offering them.
All right, Ahmed, we have a caller from Katsina State. Hello, Isma.
Yeah, hello, good
Yeah.
morning once again.
Yeah, good morning.
I just want to encourage Ahmed Buhari. As a young man, we all went out the not too young to run bill. And let us have to start from somewhere. I like the courage of Ahmed Buhari. He's a very courageous. I like his disposition. And I will encourage him to take this, his intent to the letter. Don't be discouraged by whatever anybody is going to say. And I want to also say that you should have just a minute to tell us who you are.
All right, thank you very much. Okay.
What do you want to run? Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much, Ismail. Yeah, Ismail wants to know exactly.
Thank you, Ismail, for the encouragement and the discouragement. But on a serious note, yeah, I appreciate what he said, and he thinks there's time for everything. But we are saying that there is nothing within our rules or our laws. Like, you know, I know where the problem is coming from. Most of them are saying, what position has he held before? Why is he not starting from councillor? Why didn't we hear that he's been a governor? Why is it that he hasn't been a senator? But I'm trying to make people understand, and we're trying to make people understand that the kind of experience required for good leadership does not have to come through a political process. In fact, most of the people that have gone through a political process have come out being the same kind of people that we don't want them to become. Because you can only become what you have been trained to become. And if we're having a problem with the way the system is, anybody who's going to pass through it like that is going to come out the way we don't want them to be. We're saying that we should disassociate our mind from the not too young to run bill for a minute. Anybody who falls within the constitutional framework that has been designed for this country to vie for any political office should do so regardless of anything. And let it be that the message that he is selling is what will drive how the Nigerian people will make their decisions. Because ultimately, it is what you are trying to offer that will make the people decide whether they want you or not. My name is Ahmed Buhari. I am from Kwantagora, Niger State. I'm a geologist by training. I have a master's degree in international trade and marketing. I have another master's degree in geographic information systems and spatial analysis. I have worked with the oil and gas as a well site geologist for a couple of years, after which I worked with the telecoms as well. After a point in my life, I decided I wanted to run my own company. And then I pulled out and I started running my own company, which is actually a telecoms company. So it's an IT-driven company where we are more focused on trying to see how we can train young people to understand everything that concerns information technology, from app development to web development to graphic design, and letting them understand that there is more to life than just medicine, pharmacy, or engineering. There are other things that you can do with IT that could make you actually even more lethal when it comes to what the 21st century will be offering us. So I think more than anything is that I've looked at the Nigerian situation, and for me, I've decided to stop standing on the sidelines and complain about this is not working right, that is not working right, and say, okay, you know what, I'm going to put myself on the fore. I made a declaration to run for the office of the president on the 1st of October 2016. All
right, Ahmed, please let me cut you short there. We have another caller on the line. Hello, good morning. Thanks for joining us today. What's your name?
Timothy Olumo, calling from Niger State.
All right, Timothy from Niger State. Go ahead with your question. You have 1 minute.
Okay. Buhari, I thank him for the way and manner is the courage he has. I believe that most of the people, the grammar you speak there, many people did not understand. If he can lower it little, so that many people will understand exactly what he's talking about.
Okay.
Because some people are asking questions, he has said this, and people are still asking that question. That's to say they did not understand. The English is blowing there. This is my submission.
All right, thank you very much. I think maybe the English is quite simple, but maybe you need to reduce the pace, so that you're communicating to all strata of the society. So just try as much as you can to carry everyone along. Now, one of the questions that the other caller asked is, what exactly are you going to do differently that President Muhammad Buhari has not done?
I have said it. There's no synergy with all arms of government. Everything has fallen apart. Everything has fallen down. And if you are in the position of leadership, if you're not able to synergize these arms of government, then you are doomed for a badly run administration. We also would like to see how people will become more accountable, more transparent, and more efficient. There is nothing wrong if you have an appointee that has fallen short and you take the right necessary action. What I keep saying at all the places I've been to speak and all the town hall meetings we've had and all the rallies we've had is very clearly, if you do not have the capacity to fire, don't hire. The worst thing that can happen to you is that you are running a government and people are trying to derail and you do not take the necessary action. And it's not just about taking the necessary action, it's about taking the necessary action at the right time. So if anybody wants to understand what we're going to do differently, we have said it many times. We want to have a synergized system of government where everybody or all the arms of government will be working towards one, the Nigerian people, the betterment of the Nigerian people. And then we've talked about the main things that we want to see in front. We say we want a united country. And when we talk about this united country, people think we're just, talking out in very, big ambiguity, but we don't see the kind of Nigeria that I used to see in the 80s. I don't see the kind of Nigeria that I followed through in the 90s. We have so much falling apart mainly because of politics, I guess, and how we play it. What I'm saying now is, until we find the kind of leadership that all the parts of the country would want to be with, we cannot push forward. And that's why I said we have to look beyond ethnicity, religion, social status, political party, ideological affiliation, gender, and even age, and see how we can have a people that will come together for one cause, which is getting this country moving forward.
How do you intend to deal with money-backed politicians?
So when it comes to money and politics, the main issue here is the Nigerian electorate. All
right, you are going to come back to that question. We have a caller on the line. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, what's your name and where are you calling us from?
I'm calling from Benue State.
From Benue State.
Yes.
All right, go ahead with your question. You have 1 minute.
What is it? Yeah.
Hello. Can you hear us?
I'm hearing you.
Yeah, please turn down the volume of your TV set completely. Then you can go ahead with your question.
I'm hearing you. Yeah.
All right, please, anytime you're trying to put a call through, just ensure that you turn down the volume of your TV set completely. Money-backed politicians.
They're always going to be there. It's about time the Nigerian people decide what they want for themselves. I saw the rally that happened in Akwa Ibom a few days ago. There were thousands of people. That was done by APC, right?
Yeah, APC.
Tomorrow, if another party goes there with the same money in their hands, they will pull up the same show. So it's really about money. And the electorate have allowed themselves to be used, bought, used, and trashed. I would expect that it's about time we start sending the message to town to let ourselves understand that each time a politician puts his hands in his pockets to pay for a campaign process, he is going to recover all of that money when he gets into office. but at an interest rate that only he can determine. And at a return of investment time that only he can determine. So if you think you have gone to collect money from a politician only so that you can support him to get into office, or he comes to speak to you about things and you say, you have to give us money first before you leave here. The moment he gets into office, he's going to recoup all of that money. That road that you want in your community will not happen.
Will never happen. All right, we have another caller on the line. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. This is Elisha from Taraba.
All right, Elisha, go ahead with your question. You have 1 minute.
Please, I want
Ahmed, that he prepared to go round campaign for the 36 states we have in Nigeria, not 16 local governments or not 36 local governments in Nigeria.
Okay.
And we have some marshals that are rotating within the country. Ahmed, please, I'm advising him to stay away first. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you for calling. We won't encourage that. You know, everybody, you know, have the right to contest for whatever position. You don't call and tell him to stay away. You just call and encourage him.
It's the same people, right? If you ask him the figures of people that have been killed in Taraba in just the last 2 years, he has lost count. He has lost count. So the electorate are actually the biggest problem. It's not really the politicians, because the politicians are actually just giving the electorate what they've asked for. He doesn't care if he has seen people dying. He doesn't care if the standard of living he has always had for the last 10 years, instead of improving, is actually deteriorating. He doesn't care if he has to pay tooth and nail to get his kids in school. And he doesn't care if what they even get from the educational process that he's paying for is as good as what he got 30, 40 years ago. So this is the big problem we're facing. So the electorate don't even know what is good for them anymore. And so when you see a young person saying that I want to serve, you're thinking that he just wants power. But in reality, what we've tried to make people understand is, if you do not allow responsibility to be transferred from one generation to the next generation at the right time, a vacuum will be created. And when you create this vacuum, anything and everything can fill up this vacuum. And when anything and everything fill up this vacuum, you start hearing things like Boko Haram. You start hearing things like herdsmen. You start hearing things like baby factories. You start hearing things like area boys. Because these are the things that will fill up that vacuum. So it is very crucial for us to ask ourselves, are we excited about how things are being run? We know that there are 704 local governments in this country. That he hasn't heard of me doesn't mean that we've not been going around. That he hasn't heard of me means that he should say, I like what this young man is saying. Can you come to Taraba? We're going to organize a town hall meeting where you can talk to our people and see if you can sensitize their minds about this. No, there are about 200. You don't go anywhere. Go and stay aside. So stay aside for what? To allow people who have stolen your collective resources to come and give you a bit of it and you go all haywire? We need to think. So now we are talking about a generation of people who have totally disconnected themselves from morality. And immorality has become the order of the day. And until we're able to salvage the situation before it gets bad completely, we would have a next generation of people who would have no clue as to what is expected of them.
Well, okay, Ahmed, for the want of time, Daniel, the last question, please.
Okay, now, you mentioned earlier about the fact that you do not expect the president to, at this time and age, begin to run or show interest to run for election, maybe because of the fact that we expect some sort of generational change. Don't forget that in 2015 or earlier than that, we saw a president who said he would run for one term, and also some quarters have accused the current president also of saying he would run for one term, and now we're seeing him, declares interest for another term. The same thing we saw in 2015, where we saw the president then declares interest for a second term. Now, what is your take on politicians and ideologies? We've seen them swing from left to right. We've seen them, jump ships. Like they jump in gutters. Now,
and some people are there saying they like it like that, and that for people like us who are saying that we would rather have an ideologically driven campaign, ideologically driven political parties, ideologically driven individuals is what we think we should have. Some people are saying, no, go and sleep. You don't have the money. So we are the ones who have made these people think that it's about the money, when in reality it's about ideas and how well you can drive those ideas. And like I said earlier, with all due respect to Mr. President, I am a father right now. I am driving this car. I have my children at the back seats. For example, I have my daughter at the back seat in a car seat. After a couple of years, I'm going to remove her from that car seat and put her in the back seat like that. After a few years, I'm going to move her to the front seat to sit not beside me. And she's watching. After some years, I'm like, come on, hold the steering. She holds the steering and I'm like, she's driving. I'm like, be careful, careful, watch it, watch it. After a few years, she's driving and I sleep off.
All right, Ahmed.
And this is exactly, and this is exactly what the process is all about. But if at this stage, if I'm 40 and I expect my 75-year-old father to still be driving and I'm crossed legs on the side, then I have a problem. And if we don't see this as a problem, then we do all have a problem collectively.
Ahmed, thank you very much for finding that time.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.